You are listening to episode 196 of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind Podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Thienel. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast, and today we're going to talk about seeing life from God's view. I want to share with you what might be a fresh perspective, one that invites us to take a step back from the chaos of daily life and see things from a higher vantage point. And to assist me today, I've turned to insights from Rick Warren's book titled The Purpose-Driven Life. It's a book that I've had on my shelf for many years, and I read it when it first came out and was very popular, but I recently picked it back up and it touched me again, profoundly, just like I knew it did the first time. But I also know that I'm a different person now, different circumstances. My kids are of a different age and I'm different. And so I knew that I would also have a rejuvenation from this book and to see it differently than how I did in the years past when I read it. And I really felt the nudge to discuss a particular chapter that was titled Seeing Life from God's View. I read it and I was like, yes, I want to underscore this topic and bring it to my listeners. So here I am, making a podcast out of it, seeing life from God's view. And this is definitely because of, and you'll see I'm going to inject things from the purpose-driven life. So what I want you to do is I just want you to imagine for a moment that you are in a dense forest, that all around you are tall trees obstructing your view, and you can only see the path immediately in front of and behind you. This forest is our daily life. That's a metaphor for our daily life. And in that daily life comes the never-ending chores, the children's needs, our professional demands, and our personal desires. And sometimes when we are deep in this forest, that we forget that there is a vastness of the landscape that is beyond where we are right now. Now I want you to imagine climbing one of those tall trees within this forest. And from its very highest branch, you suddenly witness and see all of the expansive nature around you. When you're up there, you see flowing rivers, you see mountains, you see the beautiful horizon beyond. Well, that elevated view is God's perspective on our lives. And Rick Warren, in his wisdom, he nudges us in the book. Therefore, when I recently read it, it nudged me towards that reminder and the understanding from this viewpoint. So once you're up there and you can see into the vast horizon, that's your future. In his view, he sees it. But when we're down in the weeds, the underbrush of life, and we can only see what's in front of us, it's just a small view sometimes. And I want this to serve as a reminder that at times it might serve us to view or zoom out and concentrate on the bigger picture, right? Because it's easy to get lost in our routines, isn't it? The daily grind, the responsibilities. But as moms, and more fundamentally as souls on this earthly journey, our purpose does transcend these daily to-dos. It's about understanding our role in the grand scheme of God's plan. And Rick Warren beautifully articulates this. He suggests that to comprehend our lives better, we must view it from God's perspective. And he positions it in a way that life is a preparation for eternity, which I totally agree with as well. We were made to last forever, and this earthly life is just a glimpse. It's a dress rehearsal for what's to come. And so how can we, in our busy lives, start seeing our days from God's view? It's in 3 ways. The first one is to understand the nature of life itself. And what it is it's temporary. So when we recall and remind ourselves and recognize that life has a fleeting nature to it, then we begin to assign importance to what truly matters to us. Our brain is going to tell us that all of it, everything that's on our list and all that we want to accomplish and all that we think we have to do is important. But really, only a few things truly matter. I remind my clients of this all the time. And it helps because then you start prioritizing with love and grace and moments of connection over those minor hiccups and inconveniences that come in and out of our lives. And Rick Warren reminds us in his chapter of seeing life from God's view that our life here on earth is merely a temporary assignment. And while we might feel like our daily struggles and joys will last forever, in the grand scheme of God's plan, our time here is brief. And as he suggests, he says life is a test, it's a trust, and a temporary assignment. And knowing this, we begin to assign importance to what truly matters, letting go of temporary setbacks and embracing the lessons and blessings in every moment. Such a beautiful reminder that we want to understand the nature of life itself. And this helps us zoom out and come from God's view, to see our lives from God's view. The next is to recognize our innate value as a human being. I truly believe that God has a purpose for each of us. And this is not a treasure to go find and seek. It is what we choose. We choose our purpose in our everyday, but remembering that our divine value, that we're created by God, and because of this, we just have 100% worthiness, helps us approach every situation, no matter how mundane, right, it can become, with dignity and purpose. One of the beautiful truths that Rick Warren emphasizes is that we were planned for God's pleasure, that our existence isn't accidental, that every one of us is deeply valued and loved by our Creator. And to capture the essence of it, he says, you were made by God and for God, and until you understand that, life will never make sense. Like, whoa, right? I just was like, wow, I need to read that one again. You were made by God and for God, and until you understand that, life will never make sense. Recognizing our divine purpose can transform how we perceive challenges, knowing that we're always guided and cherished. And I hope that you do find that I try and remind this to you in sprinkled in all the episodes that I bring here on the podcast. The third thing that I want to bring up that I really gathered from this chapter in this book that will help you see your life from God's view is to put more focus on eternity. Our time here is but a brief moment compared to eternity. And I personally have had a situation, which I've shared before, about my best friend losing her life to breast cancer several years back. And this really It was not the way I would have chosen to drive this concept home, but it is what I was given. That really focusing on eternity, knowing that this time here on earth is brief. And so by fixing our eyes on the eternal, we then can align our actions with more of a significance, right? More of leaving legacies of love and faith and purpose for our children to see. And in the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, the author teaches us to think about our eternal inheritance. He reminds us that the way you store up treasure in heaven is by investing in helping other people get there. And I know us moms take this responsibility, knowing that our job is to do our best to exemplify to those around us what we want them to learn from us. And this earthly life is just a brief moment, so we want to take that as seriously. And I do believe that you will, as a mom, show up in that way if you yourself are filling your own bucket and making sure that you are getting your needs met. And then when we focus on leaving those legacies of love and faith and purpose to our children, we know that we're investing in the eternal, in eternity. It's just more, there's a lot more than just this temporary time on earth. Moms, it's about shaping souls and preparation for the journey ahead. And we definitely get lost in the weeds of every day and bogged down by things that really, in that perspective, that God's view, is just not as important as our brains tell us that it is. So how can we, in the midst of our busy life, start seeing our days from God's view? Well, the answer is by reminding yourself and pointing towards the points that I brought up here, that if we focus on really reminding ourselves the nature of what life is and recognize your innate value in this time here on earth, and then focus on the eternity, this is what's going to help keep you in that zoomed out God's view of your life, instead of being down in the trees, seeing the path where you can only see what's just right there in front of you and right there behind you. And I wanted to exude this topic for you, and I just thought bringing in The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren was just a way to help you suggest that you could maybe pick up this book yourself. It just served as a poignant reminder for me, and I just hope it does for you too. To always strive to climb up that metaphorical tree that I mentioned, and to rise above just being in the thick of it all, of the daily life, to see your existence from a more grand viewpoint, a viewpoint from our Creator. And if you haven't yet, I wholeheartedly recommend diving into The Purpose-Driven Life. It's one of those reads that speaks to you differently at various life stages, like it has for me recently. It certainly helped me to reflect more deeply, which I always think is a great thing. And the wisdom, I believe, contained within its pages is timeless, and it has the power to redirect our perspective towards God's grand vision for our lives. And my grand vision for you all is to benefit from all you are exposed to here on the podcast and go use it to transform your own life, therefore your family's life, and ultimately impact the whole world. So thank you for joining me today. My prayer for each of you is to find moments of clarity amidst the chaos, to see your life's divine purpose, and to always know that God watches over, guiding, loving, cherishing you. And until next time, may your heart be filled with peace and purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, I'd be so grateful if you could subscribe and leave a review. It not only supports the podcast, but ensures you don't miss out on future episodes packed with insights and tools to create peace of mind in your busy mom life. And if you're of the Catholic faith like me or any Christian mom seeking to feel better in any area of your life and to show up more calm, connected, and confident, I can help. Become an empowered mom who knows how to bring about the changes you desire, no matter the circumstances. Whether you need one-on-one guidance to get there, prefer a group coaching program with like-minded women, or a self-study course, I've got you covered. Explore my private one-on-one packages, join my Busy to Balance group life coaching program, or delve into my signature course, Divine Time. To find out which path is right for you, let's meet and see what's the best fit. Schedule a free call with me at DanielleThienel.com or send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram at Danielle Thienel Coaching. And also, don't forget to get your copy of my book, The Cyclone Mom Method, How to Call on Your God-Given Power to Remain Calm, in control, and confident as a busy mom. Dive into the digital and bonus audio version when you go to book.daniellethienel.com/new-book. You'll find all the details in the show notes too. Until next time, peace be with you always.